Stop being weak. This one might upset anyone who's watching these. You might get upset about this, whatever. Listen, here's where I am. I've been watching a lot of pop culture stuff these days, following trends and whatnot on, I don't actually use TikTok. The TikTok in China is different than the TikTok that we're given. And I won't even go into it, but two of the main things is, one, they have a time limit, which freedom can become bondage. So we're like, oh, we're free, we don't need a time limit. And then we have all these, we're ruining our brains. And the second one is they do a lot more educational stuff, but I digress from that. So I'm watching all these things on social media, and the problem we're running into is that we are a very weak culture. We're very weak. Everyone's about, trigger warnings and being offended and all this stuff. And although I don't think that you should be prejudiced, I don't think that you should be racist. I'm not advocating for that stuff. But if someone says something that disagrees with what you believe, that doesn't mean you shut them down. Right? The world is a very dangerous place. Let's say we get rid of social media. Let's say we get rid of communication in general and go back to the way things were when we were in tribes and we were hunter-gatherer times and all that stuff. You're going to get eaten by something. You're going to get killed by another tribe member. Or a whole nother tribe, right? The truth is, life is very dangerous. Life is not easy. It's a venture full of suffering. And here we are in America where we're trying to make everything easy. You look at, you're scrolling on whatever, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, if you still use that. And here's the thing is you're constantly getting dopamine hits, right? We're all addicted to dopamine. We're very addicted to dopamine, which is not a good thing because it's like sitting at home and being paid to sit at home. You're not out there doing something. Dopamine used to be a motivator to go, oh, look, I built this, or I created that, or I won this, or I competed and became first or second or third, whatever it is. And then you get a hit of dopamine. Now you get it just by sitting there scrolling. So what this does is it creates a very weak society, which is where we are. The last time you took a shower, it was probably warm. Last time you slept, it was probably in a bed. Last time you ate, it was probably, decently fresh food. The last time you used the bathroom, it was probably on a toilet, not out in the cold somewhere. The point that I'm saying is we are very comfortable. So anytime that you have this comfortability, and it's so comfortable that a little bit of pain, it's like, oh my gosh, it hurts so bad. So then our pain tolerance goes down and down and down. My point of this video is to stop being weak, to encourage you to build up the resilience towards the pain in life, because life is painful. It's full of disappointments. It's full of offenses. It's full of, defenses. It's not going to be what you want. You have these expectations and your expectations are up here, and then you're let down, and then you're hurt. And so the point being is, how do you build up a resilience towards the pain? Okay, I'm glad you asked. Let's go into that real quick. Building up the resilience towards the pain is going to be one of your greatest defenses towards life. So the first and foremost, you have to get out. Go do something. Stop sitting at home. Stop sitting on, social media and all the streaming services. Stop being scared to get hurt. So you need to go out there and do something and accomplish something and go become something and take this gift that you've been given called life and go out and do whatever it is that you feel your purpose is, or, seek out purpose, become something, do something with your life. when you feel hurt, which you're going to feel, when you are, when you feel disappointed, which you're gonna feel, when you feel let down, when you feel betrayed, you're gonna get anxiety and depression and anger and all this. And the problem is, like I said, when you're comfortable, you don't know how to control the pain. You don't know how to control the emotions. Remember, energy, emotions is energy in motion. It's movement in your body. For instance, anxiety, it's supposed to get you to get up and move. It's supposed to be uncomfortable so that you do something rather than just sit there, right? And so a great remedy to anxiety is planning. A lot of people conflate the two. They think that anxiety is a form of planning, but it's not. I was in a play once and I was so nervous that I was going to not remember all of my lines that I was the first person to remember all of my lines because I planned ahead. I just dove into it and did it. And that's what anxiety did for me in that moment. So that's just one example. So when those emotions come, because they're going to, because life is a form of suffering, and real quick, I'll come back to that in a second. I know that sounds pessimistic, right? Unfortunately, I'm not trying to sound pessimistic. Unfortunately, it's realistic. And if you don't believe me, just hang out for a while. You'll start believing me. You'll be like, oh my, yeah, I didn't realize. Or just talk to someone who's older than you because they've gone through pain. They've gone through this thing with life. So the first thing is when these feelings come, okay, when you're disappointed or when life's not going the way you want it, or when, whatever happens in life, because it will, the first thing you need to do is sit with it. Take a deep breath and sit with it. Stop drugging yourself. And people are like, I don't do drugs. No? What do you think social media is? It's free, right? You're paying with your life, you're paying with your time, you're paying with your soul, basically, in a way. And so, and with all the dopamine hits that you get there, stop drugging yourself, right? Stop being comfortable. Seek out exposure to uncomfortability. One of the best ways to do this, and anyone watching this is the majority of you will be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Take an ice bath. Take a cold shower. Start taking cold showers. Get rid of the warmth, right? And what that'll do is that will build up your mental and physical ability to deal with garbage in your life. And I'm not sure if it's causation or correlation or whatever you want to call it, but the truth is there have been studies where people who take cold showers are actually more successful because they can deal with more in life. Life is very hard. You need a thick skin. So stop drugging yourself. Get off of the streaming services. Get off of social media. Get off the porn. Get off of the overeating. Get off of alcohol and marijuana and all this stuff. And because all you're doing is you're sedating yourself, but the problem is still there. You're sedating yourself, but when you wake up, the problem's still gonna be there. So one of the things you have to do is stop sedating yourself and seek out action. Just go and do, and then come back and deal with the emotions, right? Journaling is a great way to deal with an emotion. Seeing a therapist is a great way of dealing with emotions. Meditation, right? I talk to people about meditation. I've been, my friend challenged me. He's like, how's your meditation going? I'm like, it's not. He's like, oh, okay. Well, come talk to me when you've been doing it for a couple weeks. So I started doing it. I don't know. I think I'm in my third week. And it is boring. Yeah, absolutely is boring. But that's because we're all addicted to dopamine. So anything where you just sit there is going to be boring. We're not used to it. And that goes back to the comfort. And so meditation, journaling, exposure to uncomfortability, such as the cold showers and all that stuff. Exercise is amazing. And remember, when you're exercising, you're not just exercising your body, you're exercising your brain. You're going to be releasing certain chemicals such as dopamine, right? It helps you see life in a more positive way. It releases the feel good, so it puts you in a better mood, but then it also builds your tolerance towards the pain of life. It helps you to be able to take on more stress in life. All exercise really is putting stress on your body, and then for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So your body is constantly pushing back on that stress, and eventually your stress threshold is much greater than it used to be. And so all the little things that happen to you don't seem so huge anymore. Because the problem here is that if you don't learn how to control your emotions, for instance, there's this thing called toxic masculinity, and one of the things that people think is toxic is stoicism, being stoic, like holding it inside and all that. And that can be toxic to a point, but there's also a point where it's like you need to take your emotions, put it on a shelf for a moment, and get done what you need to get done, come back and then process it. And that's how that process should work. If you're holding it in all the time, yes, that can be toxic. If you're letting it go all the time, that can be toxic. There's got to be a way to regulate that. And so masculinity within itself, by the way, is not toxic. And this is kind of the issue that we're running into with men in America, is that we're told that it's toxic. And then there's this feminization that's taking place. Not that femininity is bad either, because there's got to be a good balance. But what's happening is with the feminization of men and boys and stuff, what you're seeing is something like a school shooting, right? They don't know how to control their emotions. They're told that they're already toxic. They're told to express themselves. So they do. And they don't know how to, because they don't have these outlets, and they there's no mentorship that's taking place. The parents obviously have no idea what they're doing. And so they don't know what to do. There's no direction. There's nothing like that. And so that's why we need programs and all that stuff. I'm not going to go into what we actually need, but the number one thing that I'm saying we need is to be able to control our emotions, to be able to sit with it, because the emotions are not going to kill you. Now, yes, having these uncomfortable emotions over a long period of time can cause physical damage to your body, because emotions are in your central nervous system, which is connected to everything. So, but the more that you're able to process in a healthy way, the more that you can sit with it rather than going off and numbing yourself, the more that you can process instead of numbing yourself, the more that you confront your demons instead of numbing yourself, the faster you get over these things and the more you can take on in life. And then you're not as inclined to go out and do self-destructive or just destructive behavior in general. And so that is my spiel for today about learning how to control your emotions. Obviously, if you have any other questions about this, please feel free to leave a comment below, because that's where they go. Hit that like button, get the algorithm going. If there's anyone that you think that needs to hear some of this or that might benefit from this information, please feel free to share. Remember to subscribe. Until next time, my friends. Until next time.